It's over. Dragon Ball Super has come to an end, and I've never thought that after so many years, I would be in love with Dragon Ball again. That I would be watching a Dragon Ball episode every single week. I was back to being a teenager, and I think a lot of you guys can relate to that. For so long, I thought GT was the last Dragon Ball thing we were gonna have. And then I heard GT wasn't even canon, which meant Dragon Ball ended a long time before that. And the anime world moved on, and we got tons of exciting anime to watch. Not gonna complain about that, but there was more to Dragon Ball. There was more to be explored. I think GT kind of proves that, even if like it didn't count. For as many faults as GT has, it showed that we can do more things with Dragon Ball than what we've done so far. Things don't need to end with Z, and with Dragon Ball Super, I was so happy to see canon coming back in a big way. Dragon Ball Super gets hate on a daily basis, and now that it's over, I really want to fight that. Because for as many problems as the anime has, and we're gonna get to those problems, I really enjoyed it. I really love the fact that it came back, and despite what you might hear from haters, there was a lot of good stuff coming out of Super. And it started off great with Beerus, the introduction of one of the best characters ever in the universe of Dragon Ball. Beerus is the god of destruction. He is this cat, not only in looks, but also in personality, who just sleeps for a ton of time, and once in a while he wakes up and he destroys stuff. Unless he likes their food, apparently. Beerus is one of the best characters Dragon Ball has ever seen. Maybe even the best character. Actually, Gregory is the best character. He's a talking cricket. No one can beat that. But Beerus is awesome not only because he is great, but also because he helps explain the structure of the universe of Dragon Ball. Previously, it was like, okay, we have a god, it's Kami. Then it turns out our god is just some dude from Namek, from another planet. He's an alien, basically. But there's this other entity above him called the Supreme Kai. And with the introduction of the God of Destruction, we learn a bit more of how this whole god hierarchy, as you might see, I love this word, hierarchy. You learn more about how the god structure works, okay? And this leaves another door open for the future. Beerus is the god of destruction. He wakes up, he destroys things, that's his job. Are there other gods with other types of jobs besides the Supreme Kai, of course? It would be really cool to explore that sometime down the road. And this is before Dragon Ball Super even opens up and explains the 12 universes thing, which we'll get to in a minute. Before that, Frieza came back, and I think the justification for Frieza coming back was actually not bad at all. Frieza was this prodigy who never needed to train a day in his life. He was more powerful than everyone else, so why the hell would he bother training? Until Goku came along and defeated him, so for the first time, Frieza felt like he needed to improve himself, and with him training, he became stronger very quickly. We haven't seen the full potential of Frieza yet, mark my words. If Dragon Ball comes back in the future, we are gonna see him get a lot more powerful. The transformation, I can take it or leave it. I'm not a big fan of the golden Frieza thing. I mean, you look at his previous forms and how his transformations worked, and none of them were, you know, a recolor of his own skin. It was all like muscle manipulation and his body changing form. I would be much more okay with one of those transformations than Golden Frieza. I could take it or leave it. Doesn't bother me too much, but it also doesn't feel like Frieza's thing. But yeah, despite the transformation, the fact that he got stronger so fast because he decided to train for the first time, I think it's a great premise to have Frieza fight again. Now, for these first two arcs, they had their A team animating the movies and their B team animating the anime, which made it really painful to watch those first episodes. One, because we already knew what was gonna happen story-wise, and two, because it was just a worse animation. So if they go down this road again of making movies and the anime at the same time, I hope they keep things separate. They tell a story in the movie and then they move on in the anime. Don't try to do it twice again, because I think it really hurt Dragon Ball Super's popularity. At the start, everyone was like, yeah, Dragon Ball is back, and then, oh no, it looks like crap. And they lost a lot of people right there at the beginning that never came back. After that, we have Trunks coming back from the future, and we get this whole perspective from the gods who are now characters that are in every single episode. What do they think of time travel? And hey, it's banned, it's forbidden, you shouldn't do it. They go a little bit into their time travel theories, but they don't stay there too long because that's a theory full of holes. Even just talking about time travel in general, not just talking about the time travel of Dragon Ball, it's hard to explain that stuff. I guess they just wanted to say, hey, here's what's going on, but don't think too much about it. Okay, let's just move on with story. And this Trunks arc of going back to the future, it started so promising. It started with two big questions. One, what if a god, what if a Supreme Kai or an apprentice of a Supreme Kai turned bad? Supreme Kais have all this knowledge and access to all of these trinkets. These game-changing artifacts. I mean, just think back to the Buu saga, how much of a difference the Potara earrings made. They've got tons of those artifacts in store. With Dragon Ball Super, they introduced the time ring that allows a god to time travel. So what if a god, what if a Supreme Kai wanted to use that stuff for evil? Who would be able to stop them? And two, what if Goku was evil? I mean, same question, who would stop Goku? Because Goku stops everyone else. So in an alternate universe, if Goku is bad, who's gonna stop him? The obvious answer is, of course, Goku. And that's one of the things that pisses me off about Dragon Ball, because it's all about Goku all the time. Sometimes I really wish Goku would go away for a very long time so we can get some action from the other characters, so we can see them grow a bit more. And overall, that's why I'm not a big fan of that whole future arc. I think it starts very promising, but then the answer is super obvious. And also the manga handled it so much better. I'm still not over the Zamasu Sky. That's one of the big reasons why I don't like Goku Black as a villain. And then Dragon Ball Super wraps up with 2 tournament arcs, and saying it like this, it feels like, okay, the last episode was just 2 tournaments. It was kind of half of the whole Dragon Ball Super thing. The first tournament I really liked because it showcased some of the differences between the 2 universes, particularly the Universe 7, which is where all of our main characters are from, and Universe 6, which has a lot of parallels, but the differences are pretty significant. We see an alternate version of Frieza who is still evil but is not perceived as such, and we have the Saiyans who have taken a completely different path. They're still a race of warriors, but they're not these conquerors of planets, destroyers of everything. They're seen as heroes in their universe. And of course hits the legendary assassin, which answers a big question. What if Goldo, Goldo from the Ginyu Force, who had those powers to manipulate time, what if he was actually good? What if someone actually strong had that power to stop time on top of that? And I really loved Hit because of it. There was also some of that, what are the other universes like in the second tournament, but not as much. It was really focused on the fighting. And don't get me wrong, I come to Dragon Ball for the fighting. I think animation-wise they did a great job in both tournaments. And I do love the battles a lot, but tournaments are perhaps the laziest way to write Dragon Ball. It feels like they took a focus group and asked, well, what's the most popular thing about Dragon Ball? And the answers coming out of that were tournaments and transformations. Okay, let's do that. Because yes, this series had way too many transformations. Let's count them. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Rage from Trunks, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, Vegeta went Ultra Blue, and then we had Ultra Instinct, which was actually 2 things. A light version and then a mastered version. This happened within 131 episodes. Compare that to the number of transformations in Dragon Ball Z, which had close to 300 episodes. It's too much. And we're only counting the Universe 7 Saiyans. We're not even going into Kefla territory or Kale with the legendary Super Saiyan or Golden Frieza or Jiren, whatever the hell he does. I really think they went overboard, and if they just keep churning out transformations, then all transformations lose meaning, right? Oh, let's not forget Super Saiyan Rose from Goku Black, of course. So yeah, I think overall those are my biggest problems with Dragon Ball Super. The 2 tournament arcs felt unnecessary, too many transformations, but honestly they had so much promise in some of the arcs, and they answered some questions with the multiple universe stuff when they explore the time travel, the god system, that it feels like they're really exploring this universe in a way that I didn't even think of it at first. These were definitely questions I had. I didn't think they were gonna explore them as much as they did. I also heard a lot of people disliking Dragon Ball Super because Goku's an idiot. Newsflash, Goku was always an idiot. It just so happens that in Super, every other character has realized that and is calling Goku out on it. If I had to define Goku's character in 5 words, I would say loves fighting, is an idiot. He's always been this way. Is an idiot for fighting. He just wants to fight. That's his thing. And if you don't like him now, you have no reason to have liked him before. Anyway, this is my love letter to Dragon Ball Super. I'm so thankful that Dragon Ball came back. Made me feel like a kid again. And I just love it. There's literally no other anime that could have made me feel this way. Because there's no other anime I watched as a kid, probably. Not to the extent that I watched and loved and lived through Dragon Ball. So listen to the hate, maybe take that as some feedback for the future, because I'm fully confident that Dragon Ball isn't done. Technically, Dragon Ball Super isn't done because there's a movie coming out, but I'm very confident that even after the movie, we're gonna get another series. It's not gonna be called Dragon Ball Super, it's gonna be called something else, but I'm fairly positive that Dragon Ball is far from over. I mean, they teased Oob during Dragon Ball Super. I'm sure that wasn't just a reference, that was forecasting for something coming up. So yeah, listen to the hate, take it as feedback, but know that there's a lot of love towards you, Dragon Ball Super, and Dragon Ball in general. I just want to see more. So good job with all of that. Hope you do better in the future. We've recently started breaking down the history of Dragon Ball games from the very first games. Here's part 1. If you want to watch it, click right there. If you're in the mood for something else, there's also the video at the bottom. But as always, thank you very much for watching. My name's Globku, and I'll see you guys next time. Boy.